Like lots of kids in the world say bro, but these kids, they feel like Kiwi kids to me.
Don't forget that one of the Reef kids uses cuz quite
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah, I love that too. I love how much these films ooze New Zealand in their aesthetics and their attitudes.
Yeah.
How has
value system?
Right. How has living in New Zealand affected your approach to these films and indeed their content?
Well, I think obviously there's a strong, very, very strong indigenous cultural component here in Aotearoa, and that has informed especially The Way of Water and Fire and Ash, which are the sequels. I wrote Avatar, I was still living in Los Angeles at the time, and it was imagined there and all that. And then what I could say from the Avatar experience, first film, was great crews, great imagination, great artists and so on here, but I don't think it informed the storytelling quite as much as on the later films. And obviously, I think on average at least, Kiwis are pretty pro-nature, you know, love it, enjoy it, and protect it, I would say, a lot more than most other countries right now. So that's obviously a key theme of these films.
I'm a big fan of The Abyss, Sanctum, I thought was really interesting, and Titanic.
Did that one in Australia. Actually.
Yeah, well, I just love how, as a filmmaker, no one's more interested in the undersea exploration. And sort of, you're so good at finding the dramatic possibilities of that environment.
Right.
Beyond just the drama of how dangerous undersea exploration can be, why do you keep being drawn back to the ocean in your storytelling?
Yeah, well, look, I do it on the fictional side and I do it on the documentary side. So after I did Titanic, I took about a 7-year sabbatical and just did deep ocean exploration. Didn't do anything else. I love going deep. I love seeing things nobody's ever seen. I love building the hardware to go do that. And then came full circle after Avatar's success. I did two things. I wrote the sequels that involved the ocean clans so that I could create a whole ocean ecosystem with lots of really cool creatures, and obviously the Tulkun, which they sort of take over from the mining and extraction part of the story in the first Avatar for being, okay, this is the part of Pandora that's at risk now from ocean extraction, if you will. So just, you know, thematically dealing with things that are really happening in our world in a way that's, I don't think it's particularly coy. I think people get it. It's pretty on the nose, and it's meant to be, you know. And even after the first Avatar, I took 2 years out to finish building a sub and go to the deepest spot on the planet. So I'm never going to be very far from that, you know, in my thinking.
Is there a wonder there that you're trying to convey to the rest of us about what it's like down there?
Are you a diver?
To a certain degree. I'm more of a snorkeler, but I have
okay.
used an aqualung, and it is magical down there. But I just love the way that passion just seeps through in your work.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think there's something wondrous about being underwater, whether you're on scuba or whether you're doing breath hold diving, which I also love. And you know, most of what's amazing in the ocean is in the top, 30 meters. That's where the great profusion of life is, up in the sunlight zone and the coral reefs and so on, and the kelp forests. Temperate photic zone life is pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm just trying to capture that and convey it. And we don't want everybody in the world to go jumping in the water. They'll mess it all up. So, you know, they can go see an Avatar movie and have a nice underwater experience. We try to come as close as we can to what it's really like being underwater. I think the 3D helps with that. We do all of our underwater scenes at 48 frames a second. Not the whole movie, just the underwater scenes, and occasionally bits of the above water action we'll do at high frame rate. But a high frame rate seems to really suit the underwater. It gives it a vividness that's very much like what it's really like to be underwater.
The main takeaway from your filmography is obviously the emotional component of the films. But throughout it, there's all these wonderful, specific hardware details that generations of filmmakers have obsessed over, like the walker in Aliens, the Steadicam gun, and just those design aspects are always so delightful in your films. Is that an aspect you still get excited about?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, it's a balance, right? So we actually have a separate production designer who does all the human technology and the new aircraft and all that, and he and I geek out together. And then we have a separate production designer who does all the forest and the creatures and the Na'vi and their wardrobe and so on. So I know that I'm dealing with the two hemispheres of the brain, so to speak, but I like both parts of it.
I love those details in the new film, by the way.
Well, we have to fear this alien invasion, and so the more badass their machines are, the better that works story-wise. Our perspective is supposed to be with the Sully family and with the Na'vi, and seeing the humans as the invading, technologically superior invading force. Well, we got to make them badass, right?
Absolutely.
And I like that part of it too.
On your recent interview on The Town, you intimated that you might have an involvement with a new Terminator project.
Yeah, I have a deal to develop a new Terminator, basically a whole new, maybe cycle around that.
And so you still have a lot of passion for that intellectual
Yeah,
property.
look, I'm a little wary of that assignment right now because things are happening so fast in the real AI world that I'm a little worried about driving a stake in the ground and making a comment that might be obsolete in a year or so. I mean, actual artificial intelligence. I'm not talking about generative models and ChatGPT and all that stuff, but I'm talking about artificial superintelligence. It's actually coming our way. It's a real thing. Skynet will be real in a few years.
You rang the bell, you know?
Yeah, well, a lot of people did. I mean, Arthur Clarke with HAL in 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know, I was deeply steeped in the literature, and so that was nothing new. I can't take too much credit for that. I did put it in charge of a nuclear weapons system, and that didn't work out so well for us.
The opening line of this film is, "Come on, bro." Like, lots of kids in the world say bro, but these kids, they feel like Kiwi kids to me. Is that a fair
that's
assessment?
interesting. I don't know if I had that in mind. What I had in mind was that Spider, from Neytiri's perspective, Spider, as a human kid, is actually contaminating her children culturally by teaching them all this colloquial slang, right? So that might have been in the back of my mind, but don't forget that one of the Reef kids uses cuz quite a bit.
Yeah, I love that too.
That was a direct reference.